What's up and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed my opening credits. They were generated by AI. So I hear that's a thing now that gets people really riled up on the internet, and I definitely want to go viral. So I'll say that at the top, even though I didn't have opening credits, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, this is my review of Secret Invasion, Season 1, Episode 1, the pilot. Marvel's new show. Um, yeah. So I didn't even know about the AI credits because I can't see because I'm a blind film critic. So I watched this with audio description on Disney Plus. But all of a sudden, I was like gonna go on there and talk about Secret Invasion and just try to talk about, on social media, like, oh, I thought that was pretty. Oh, that was pretty cool. What happened there? Oh, I like that. Blah blah blah. Whatever. We can't even talk about it because I guess the credits were AI. I don't even understand. I don't know why. I don't know how you notice. Like conceptually, the whole thing doesn't make any sense to me. But um, I think we should talk about the actual show. The thing we came to watch. Let's be honest. A lot of the streaming services give you the option to skip the opening credits. And I think a lot of us do. At least on other shows. Ones that we're tired of just seeing the same old title cards. The same theme song over and over and over and over. Like, how many times do you really need to listen to the Game of Thrones theme song at the beginning? It's, or Friends, I'll be there for you. It's like, skip. So, this one brings together like a concept that we kind of started back in Captain Marvel when we started talking about the Skrulls. And the Marvel Cinematic Universe was kind enough to bring Ben Mendelsohn into the fray because it's really just a smart decision. If you can ever bring Ben Mendelsohn in, just do it. He's destined for an Oscar nomination at some point. He's a fantastic actor. So we just need to keep him in the public eye so that way he can get the kind of role that he needs to get that Oscar nom. But I'm constantly impressed by everything he does. Even as Talos, does that feel right? It feels right. So he's brought back here. And we also get, the show is also populated with Nick Fury, Maria Hill, and some new characters, as well as possibly War Machine. We did see Rhodey for like a hot second. I don't know how involved he's going to be in this show. I don't know how well it is. That might be a spoiler. I don't know if it's a spoiler. I don't know who was announced, but I know the main three. We're supposed to know that. So that's not a spoilery thing. I'm trying to do this without spoiling a lot of the key plot points, and just talk about how did this work for me with audio description. And for me with audio description in the show and just in general, and how was it good? Did I like it? It's not my favorite. It's kind of right where Falcon and the Winter Soldier was for me, where there are parts of it that I like and parts of it that I appreciate, and of course I'm a fan, so I tend to like things. I don't know why we're in such a weird place where we bash things that are trying to make fans happy. If you're a fan of a franchise or a series, then yeah, give me that nostalgia, give me that stuff. That's why I'm here. I'm sorry, if I want originality, I'll go watch originality. There's plenty of original work out there. But if I come here, there's different things that you can do and to make a story interesting for sure. But I totally expect to have an Avenger cameo. You know what I'm saying? I expected somebody like War Machine to walk in. That's what I want. I don't want to watch a boring show where Nick Fury and Maria Hill are the most interesting characters. I didn't really even watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for very long. So I was just like, oh, this is boring. It's kind of monotonous. They're a little too average. So, luckily, this show does give us a Skrull at least. So that makes it a little bit more interesting. And the promise of War Machine. So, but the Skrulls have started living more and more on Earth. There's a faction of them that since the snap believe that the promise to find the Skrulls a new planet, which apparently hasn't happened yet, they blame Earth, and you know what? They're kind of like, you know what? We're gonna stay here. We're gonna stay on Earth. And there sort of is a revolutionary guy that wants to make their planet Earth his own. So, and he's got a little group, and that's kind of the plot of the show. Along the way, we pick up Olivia Colman and Amelia Clark, and Kingsley Ben-Adir, all playing new characters, who you will figure out who they are over the course of the pilot. But they're all kind of big names. Kingsley Ben-Adir is a name that's getting a lot of Oscar buzz right now already, because he's playing Bob Marley in a biopic that comes out in December. So everybody's like, oh, well, obviously, because biopics. So he's already got Oscar buzz. Anyway, the ending was surprising to the episode. I'll be honest, I didn't see it coming. Bold move, bold step for the series, moving forward. But considering it felt like Samuel L. Jackson was somewhat sleepwalking through the beginning of the film, which is exactly what Maria Hill calls him out for, I feel like that was enough to give him the kick in the face that he needs to kind of go into high gear mode. I think about things like that, and I think about this moment. For those of you who have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. There was only one moment at the end. I think about that moment, and then it brings me back around to my problem with a lot of the Marvel films is that we've introduced far too many characters, and I know that some of them, we try to scatter them onto other planets, and that's the reasoning for why they're not around to do something. But I feel like that's kind of a moment where somebody else would show up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of feel like, based on the history of everybody and based on everybody that's worked with, I feel like when news of that breaks, I should be seeing some familiar faces. And I don't really know, I know that's like, I'm going to be limited probably to just Rhodey, to just War Machine. And it's this problem that they have with the MCU and the extended MCU because of Disney Plus series, where it's like, where are the other people? What is going on? Why does nobody care about this? Why are we letting this one person take care of this scenario that supposedly is going to end everything? There's at one point in the series where this thing where it's like, they talk about wiping mankind off the face of the earth. I'm like, that feels like kind of a big deal. Does that feel like the kind of thing that you feel like just War Machine and Nick Fury can handle? Like, is that where we're at? We have all of these heroes and all of these smaller versions of heroes, like Kate Bishop, and we're just, mankind might be wiped off the face of the earth, but luckily, we've got War Machine, so we're good to go. He'll save us all. Like, what? Is that what this show's gonna come to? Because come on, Marvel. I really want to stand up for you. I really want to fight for you. You make it so hard. You make it so hard every time. You go too big. Your plot is too grand. You can't stop it before it's like some sort of cataclysmic event. It has to be some sort of, you make it so large scale that it's silly that everybody else is not fighting. We know they exist. We know they're out there. What are they doing? It was like, it was the problem everybody asked during the Avengers, when we knew that the Avengers happened in New York City and there were all the Netflix heroes who supposedly existed in the same space. What were they doing? What was Daredevil actually doing during that time? Like, where was he? So, yeah. And then the whole Eternals thing just blew my mind. I was like, where is everybody? What is happening in this franchise? So we have to start being okay with having smaller villains with more nefarious and interesting subplots. Every time you try to end the world and one hero shows up, it's kind of silly. And if you guys at Marvel wonder why things are kind of going down the tube, it has a little bit to do with your stories and your choices and the choices that you're making in them. And things like this are exactly what contribute to it. You know, you can't make it constantly feel like the world is about to end and show us that we have like 30 good guys and one comes to show up, maybe two, you know, and then maybe we're introduced to a new one. Like, we'll be like, oh, we got two guys and then this new person that we're introducing to you who may or may not ever show up in another film again. Who knows? Will America Chavez ever come back? The world may never know. We may never find out. So, and Secret Invasion kind of feels like that's where we're headed. I'm kind of feeling like we're gonna stick in sort of that Falcon and the Winter Soldier area where there's some stuff happening and people are like, you know what? Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they got it. You know, they'll handle it. Even though the Winter Soldier's really kind of in a place where he can't really show his face in public. He's not really in a great place, but people don't really like him. It's conflicting opinions on the Winter Soldier. So, yeah, it's... Rhodey was in that too, wasn't he? That's why I'm not so sure that he's gonna actually consistently be in the series, because I feel like Don Cheadle showed up for like 5 seconds in Falcon and the Winter Soldier and then just never showed up again. So I don't even know how much he's gonna be in Secret Invasion. He might have just been like, I do this now. This is what I do. I pop in. I'm a popper-inner. And maybe we'll see more from Olivia Colman and Emilia Clarke's characters. They're well-known actresses. I'm really interested to see where their characters grow. I felt like audio description-wise, I feel like we did not do a good enough job at describing a Skrull. I'm sorry, we did not. I feel like that was not... I remember what they look like from comic books, and that's kind of what always gets superimposed for me, you know, because of Captain Marvel's release date. I unfortunately didn't get to see Captain Marvel with my eyes, so I also don't know actually what Marvel's version of a Skrull looks like. But you can't assume that everybody watching Secret Invasion watched Captain Marvel. So I didn't go back and watch Captain Marvel to see, did we really describe the Skrulls really good in this? And then we're just assuming everybody knows. Because there's a lot of the show that kind of feels like you're supposed to know who these people are. Which, to some extent, I can understand that you think that everybody's going to start in with Nick Fury and Marie Hill. But I know people who watch some Marvel. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't watch all Marvel, but they watch enough, and they come in and out of things, the things that they want to see. They're not huge Marvel fans, but they've seen like some of the Disney Plus shows. Those people exist, and you can't always assume that they remember everything or that they saw every Marvel movie. So they're more casual fans. I realize that to assume that out of nowhere that somebody's going to make Secret Invasion their first Marvel thing is probably, that's a reach. I will agree to that. But there are people who, I'm sure with all of the Marvel things, need a little bit more than what you're giving them in terms of where we came from and explaining. I mean, honestly, if somebody was asking me right now, hey, I haven't seen all the Marvel stuff, what do I need to see Secret Invasion? I would say Captain Marvel. this series is not going to make sense at all if you haven't seen Captain Marvel. You won't know who Skrull is. You won't know who Talos is. They just he just happens. They're there and they explain it. Beyond that, I would say it would help if you've seen the Avengers, so that you can at least get some of that Maria Hill, Nick Fury love from way back in the day. So at least you understand conceptually their dynamic. I know they pop up in other things, but that one kind of has a great start to the relationship and dynamic between those two characters. So those would be my recommendations. If you are a casual viewer and you don't have a lot of time to commit to yourself, I'm assuming you've seen the Avengers, but if you haven't seen the first one, watch it just so you can pick up those two characters, and make sure you see Captain Marvel. And that second one is a must. If you haven't seen Captain Marvel, this is not going to make a lot of sense to you. This is going to be very bizarre, and it's not going to be something that you're going to engage yourself with. Because the Skrulls haven't really appeared in anything else and in force yet. They're sort of new to the MCU, and this does not do a great job of explaining where they came from. It doesn't give them their backstory. Their backstory in Secret Invasion is basically watch Captain Marvel and you'll understand. That's basically what they're trying to tell you. Like I said, I'm not super crazy about this. It's not my least favorite, but it is sort of around Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is around middle of the pack for me. There are some shows that I feel like are way up there for me, where I'm like, I love this show, thought it was great, thought it was amazing. Please give me more seasons. I don't understand why I can't have more seasons of this show. Then there are the shows that are in the middle where I'm like, it's fine, I guess. And this is kind of where that is. It's better than Miss Marvel, which I think is my least favorite show so far. Sorry, sports fans. I was not a fan of Miss Marvel. It had nothing to do with anything that on the internet that people. I didn't like it. I did conceptually. I just thought the show had a lot of problems. So, audio description. I wish we could get the Skrulls described better. Structurally, I understand a lot of it has to do with the plot. But the audio description does a good job of getting people's transitions when they're human characters. You know, when a Skrull transitions into a new human, we get at least a cursory description of what that human looks like with like defining features. Sometimes it's not really that important. I don't want to, again, I'm trying not to spoil. So when a Skrull shapeshifts, it's not always that important what the defining features are, because it's like a temporary shapeshift. You're not meant to permanently know what that version is, if that makes any sense. So it's just for a few seconds they're shaping into somebody, and you just need to know like a general, like this is kind of what they just changed into, and then they move on. They're not going to break down the whole wardrobe for you. And that's fine. Honestly, it's fine, because we shouldn't need more than that. There's a lot happening. The plot deals a lot with terrorism, and Nick Fury is here to stop it and work with his friend Talos to save Earth. Talos is the good guy. So I think that's it. That's it. I'm gonna keep recapping this, and we'll see if the show gets any better or worse, but I'm not totally feeling the vibe right now. But again, I'm a fan, so automatically things skew up like a point. Whenever I'm a fan of something, it's like, if I was not a fan, there's like a grade, and then there's like a fan point added to it, just because it makes me happy that I'm seeing these characters. It's weird, but yes, fan service is a thing, and at least I'm admitting it. I'm openly admitting my bias. If you're not a fan of something, you should also admit your bias that way and say, I'm not a fan of this series. I said that in my Extraction 2 review. I didn't like the first one, so of course I was probably not going to like the sequel. However, every once in a while it does happen where I end up liking a sequel, or I end up not liking the sequel, but I like the first one, so who knows. But I'm going to give Secret Invasion a B+. Again, largely, a little bit has to do with simply being a fan of Marvel. And that's about where I was grading Falcon and the Winter Soldier, too. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and stay with me, and I will keep hitting you up with more Secret Invasion as the series progresses. I think this is going to set up a lot for the cinematic universe, so I think this show is oddly going to be really important. So, whether we like it or not, I think we have to watch this. Doesn't really matter where it goes. We just have to watch this show anyway. Otherwise, we're not going to understand some of the movies, and damn it. Anyway, I will see you guys on the other side.